Hey RVers, welcome back to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd. Behind us is the technically new but not kind of really 247 RBS J-Flight. This was previously known as the 248 RBS J-Flight. J-Flight went through a big scale kind of reset last year, and here's what we're looking at. Let me know what you think about it, where they nailed it, where they failed it, where they could improve, and what they're doing good. So what this one is here, this qualifies I think very nicely for a lot of late model, half-ton tow package kind of stuff. You don't necessarily need a big giant monster truck to tow this one around, and it is a fantastic couples camping model. You've got a dedicated walk-around bed up front with a sofa separately in front of it, as opposed to a Murphy bed where you have to make the bed every morning, every night. This one, you just pull in, lay down, when you're ready to go, it's ready to go kind of thing. You've also got a big U-dinette slide, which really opens up this living room, and if you really look at it, this gives you the space and the features of a super slide without the extra length, weight, and cost of a super slide. And instead what it's giving us is a fantastic rear bathroom. These have extra tall ceilings so a big goofball like me can actually stand in the shower. And there's a monstrous extra closet back there in that bathroom that I think is probably one of the very best qualities of this RV and one of the most easily overlooked. It's also carpetless, which is really handy, including in the slide floor. And they do my nerd preferred thing where they match the main floor and the slide floor with the same flooring, so it just looks so cohesive, so good. We're looking at the white farmhouse decor today, but they don't force you into that like most manufacturers who just say, this is our decor, eat it, hope you like the taste. Jayco gives you an alternative called cottage, which is also brown. And I don't think we're doing our job on a Jayco if I don't mention how there's just nobody that matches their warranty. There's actually a bunch of easily missed best-in-class qualities on this one that we're going to cover, but it's also got a couple things that I don't think you're going to like the bed size. And we're gonna get into all that, the good with the bad, as we go. And if you appreciate the fair look at things, hit that subscribe button, and let's get in there. And if you're familiar with Jayco's lineup from years past, this is going to look awful darn similar. As I said, it's kind of just a newer version of their revamped J-Flight series. But to give you your bearings, you saw the entry door there. We're at the back of the camper facing forward right now. Because what I want to do is kind of, give you the lay of the land. Hopefully you've already gotten that from our quick little flyby floor plan in a flash. But over here in the slide, this is one of the first major things I want to hit on. They're one of the very few manufacturers in this class doing carpetless, although that list is getting longer. Originally, the very first in this class to do that was the Open Range and, Highland Ridge family of stick and tin trailers and RVs in general. But J-Flight was one of the very first, outside of them to adopt that feature right there. And now I'm seeing Delaterra from East to West and even Salem Wildwood start to do carpetless, which is great. One thing that this kind of stands out for, though, it's another one of those kind of defining qualities. It's a little bit taller inside. Most of the RVs in this category are 6.5 foot tall, and you can't really discern the difference of this on camera, but it's 6'9", and that extra 3 inches adds up quickly. That extra 3 inches means more space here for a bigger window. It means bigger cabinetry, taller slide out, more headroom in the shower. It adds up very, very fast. Now, they put a pretty outstanding light package in this as well. It's not quite as dramatic on camera as it is in person because these cameras like to try to balance those things, but you can still turn all those lights off and on individually. What I want to point out is how they're doing 2 rows of lights instead of 1. Again, it adds up. Now, up top here, centralized air, and they are doing what's called vented and louvered air conditioning. Of course, I can't get my fingers aren't work. It's cold today. My fingers aren't working. But what I'm getting at is these vents can all open and turn individually. So you can point them where you want or shut them down. Some people like the cold air blowing right in their face. I'm one of those people. I like that. Some people do not. I'm that person who sits on an airplane and turns on the cold air vent above me and then puts my hoodie over my head. I love that feeling of being warm with the cool, crisp air around me. That's probably why I like fall camping in Michigan so much. That is my favorite time of year to camp. One, because the weather is just, I love it. And the color change of the leaves up here is beautiful. But the other major factor that I love fall camping, most of the kids are back to school. Now this is, I think, a lot of campers in this class have kind of crappy entertainment centers. You are on Boardwalk and Park Place staring at this sucker in this one. Although, I noticed how they paneled that off at the bottom. I I wonder if there's anything down there, because I think that that could have been utilized maybe as even just an open shoe garage, or perhaps like a oh, what do I want to say here? A pet dish kind of, bin storage or something like that. Now today we're looking at the 12-volt compressor fridge, but with the fridge supplier that Jayco uses, it's actually kind of hard visually on camera to notice the difference between the 12-volt and the two-way, because they use a 12-volt fridge whose inserts can actually match the decor that we're looking at. Now, this is all pocket-screwed lumber core cabinetry. What that all means in English, if you're not familiar, is it's not stapled fasteners holding everything together. Then back here in the bathroom, one of the differences here is that there's an Eastern-built, Indiana-built J-Flight, and then there's a Western Idaho-built J-Flight. And I actually personally have come to prefer the Idaho-built J-Flight. One of the main reasons is that these Indiana J-Flights only have a mirror on the wall. The Western J-Flights have greater fresh tank capacity, but they also have a full medicine cabinet. And that's just one of those little things I use every single day. I would just find value in that. Now, the space around the toilet looks all right, but I was actually a little surprised. And this is a bummer, but I hope you appreciate that even though it's not good, I still put it on camera. The right-hand elbow room for us righties was not the best. I was not super pleased with that. Now, when you lean to do the cleaning, you'll probably be fine. I'm trying to keep that as PG-13 as my childish sense of humor is going to allow. And that taller ceiling, like I said, does allow you to stand up in the shower far more easily. You may notice how they are using just the conventional dollar store fart fan in here, as most manufacturers tend to do in this class. Very few stick and tin builders use a Big Max air fan, although Cherokee is one of those, so good news. We have those available as well. Now, looking down here, I love that they give us a place for the wastebasket under the sink, but look at the giant closet up in that thing. Like, you could fit 4 or 5 bodies up in there. I'm not saying, I don't know. But back to the refrigerator. This is the 12-volt. There is a gas-electric two-way. Back to the refrigerator sounds kind of like Back to the Future. And that giant U-dinette folds down into a big sleeper. Not to mention the sofa beside that over there that faces the TV, that can fold down into a small sleeper as well. Notice there's like a furnace under that, so you cannot pull that sofa out and replace it with a theater seat. If that's a question that you were going to ask and that was I proactively answered that for you, do me a favor, hit the like button on the video, or just leave me a note and say, hey, thanks for the note on the furnace or whatever. Sometimes I try to go out of my way to answer questions that you haven't asked maybe yet, but I know that I would like a version of this floor plan with a theater seat in it. Stay tuned to the end of the video. I've got an option for you to give you a floor plan like this with basically all of these features and more, including a true theater seat. Now, compared to the 248 J-Flight, they actually sized down technically to a Camp Queen, but, and folks, like Sir Mix-a-Lot, it is a big butt. That didn't actually make sense, but I actually think you know what I meant. They didn't actually shrink the bedroom. There's still room to put a true queen in here and walk around it. They just didn't actually put in the mattress. But here's the thing. This is what I lovingly refer to, like most manufacturers have, as a backbreaker death wafer mattress. It is not the world's best mattress. This is not by far the worst I've seen in this class, but it's not amazing. Chances are you're going to replace it. Well, if you're going to replace it, you don't want to pay any more than you have to for the mattress that you're getting with the factory or from the factory. So, you get that thing right there with the Camp Queen, and you can replace it. You could add a foam topper to it. Maybe you're shorter than I am. Maybe it'll work just fine. I don't know. I do like how they still fully frame out all the windows, though. That is a nice touch right there. One of the other nice surprises on this one, though. But as you see here, when the slide is closed, this one maintains some absolutely awesome traveling access. You can get to the front bed, you could sit down at the sofa, maybe put a plate on your lap, have a little dinofa situation. The kitchen is readily accessible over on the left side. Really about the only thing you're significantly going to lose out on is just the entertainment center, because, well, Now there's a wall in the way, but without any real, like, RV gymnastics, you can walk straight through this thing. You got to do a little bit of a catwalk, hey, do a little turn on the catwalk, basically, to get in here. And I really hope people pick up this little dry humor, stupid musical references that I'm laying down all the time. Now, one of the major questions I always like to try to tackle here is, what's it going to take to tow this one around? If you look at this, it's legitimately under 30 feet. And even the maximum GVWA, I think, very nicely fits within the realm of half-ton towability. If you've got a decent tow package half-ton, you're going to be fine. Now, keep in mind, the phrase half-ton towable is not a guarantee. There is no vehicle class and category with more potential towing variances than the half-ton towing market. So you got to kind of take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. Now, over here, one of the things they do that I really, really like is they give us a large pass-through with big baggage doors right on both sides. But if you look up here, at a glance, it looks kind of awful, but it's here and it's available and it's accessible for a reason. That is actually a basic inverter prep, or if you want to add an inverter to power a couple outlets in this RV off your battery when you're boondocking, they make it easy to get to that wiring. And while certainly not flashy and not fancy, there is almost no stick and tin builders out there doing any level of inverter prep. Now I'm going to get this baggage door out of the way. We got that magnet holdback making that kind of one hand easy for us. You see that you are prepped and ready for not just rear view, but also side cameras. So if you want a full observation suite on this, you can do that. That's another thing a lot of stick and tins don't really do. Protecting your hinges on the baggage doors like that, and giving you turn signal safety lighting. So if you flip on your right hand turn signal, all the lights down the side of this will blink, like those little clearance lights that we were just looking at. They will blink along with your turn signals, so that other drivers got a better clue what you're doing. And frankly, that just keeps everybody safer. Again, for towing factors, we are legitimately under, I think this is like actually closer to 28 feet than 30. And decent patio awning space on this one. But notice the position of the door. When the door is dead in the middle of the awning like that, you can walk in and out on a rainy day without getting spritzed in the face, which is awful nice, because that's when you get spritzed in the face, you go, that's why I say it like that. Also, I'm an idiot. The windows you can see are all UV tinted. We've got that bigger entry handle for the entry door with a full viewing window. The stable steps, taking a lot of the wiggle jiggle out. Speaking of that, the stabilizers that they're using on these are the new quick drop stabilizer jacks. And basically, they have an additional stabilization arm that drops down with the leg that you cinch down to really keep the trailer from rocking and rolling around. It makes a huge, huge difference. Kind of like JT Strong Arms, if you're familiar with those. In this class and category, very, very few manufacturers are doing Goodyear Endurance radials. Those are 87 mile an hour rated, American made, sourced. Basically the best tire that I know of being used in this class and category to give you more peace of mind going down the road, more safety, Below that big kitchen window, there is an outside TV bracket, by the way, in case you want to bring your, I almost said bring your Netflix and chill outside, but I don't know if the neighbors would appreciate that. Usually that's the kind of thing you need a subscription for on very specific websites. Tankless on-demand water heater, speaking of heating things up, means nobody has to take those annoying cold showers. And speaking of that, with that having like that little kitchen sprayer thing right there, with having a water fixture nearby, are we going to consider that a true camp kitchen, or is this just a little bit more of a camp cooking convenience center? I don't know that, like, I'm one of the type of people, I don't really care so much about putting labels on things. I think labels can certainly set expectations, but I try to look more at the actual physical feature and function of it than pardon me, I'm choking on thin air, silly name we applied to things. Back here on the back, spare tire is also Goodyear. That is another one of those major J-Flight differences. A lot of manufacturers won't also give you an upgraded tire for a spare. You see how we've got that reverse travel lighting, part of that turn signal safety package. And not only did we have that cold water sprayer, we also have a full hot-cold outside utility shower. And once again, like a lot of these things that I'm pointing out that I seem to be acting like I'm making a big deal out of, it's because in this category, those are things a lot of brands don't have. but those are a lot of things that Jayco does standard on these. And that's the reason, like J-Flights, you know, they got the longer warranty. They're using plywood floors, they're using plywood roof decking. These have the greatest load-bearing capacity on their roof structure of anybody else in this class. They've done the testing, you know. Things like that make a difference. And one thing you don't realize is that when you're going down the road, all of the road stress and the bumps and the jumps that are not absorbed by the tires go up through your suspension, and then that violence, that kinetic energy starts translating its way up through the walls until it has nowhere else to go, which means the roof. If you want an RV that's going to hold up long term, you want to make sure you have one that has a better roof. Now, as always, I'll leave you a link in the description to check for pricing and availability. If you kind of like this layout, but you're like, man, I'd really like, you know, fiberglass or Asdel or a theater seat or, you know, something like a trim package up, because this is definitely more on the what I call smarter class style of camping, where it's just not, you know, all the widgets and whiz bangs. Somebody like me who camps casually, this would be perfect. I don't need all the widgets and whiz bangs. But check the link in the video description. There's one made by Coachman, which is actually one of my personal nerd preferred kind of pick floor plans out there that I think you might like if you want everything you see here and just a little more. Also, you'll see a link for pricing and availability down in the description area there. Whether it's the East Built, the West Built, whatever store is nearest to you and how it's built, you'll see pricing and availability for individual models that way, whether you're curious or whether you're serious. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.